The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host and their guests do not necessarily reflect those of ParaX, its affiliates, or its sponsors.
Whatever.
God damn son of a...
We have had some technical problems.
I'm ready to go. Hit it! 31 seconds, and we're on for auto sequence start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Dead Zone WDZRDB Worldwide.
Dead Zone Paranormal Radio Show, November 3rd. I hope you guys had a fantastic Halloween. I hope you got scared. You scared someone, or both. It's going to be a great show tonight. Coming up, we have Dr. Rebecca Forrester. GodsTool.com is her website. It's going to be really interesting. We met her at Horror Hound and the Fact or Fiction Fest. Very sweet lady, very nice lady. Stick around. You'll enjoy it. Oh, there was one more thing I wanted to mention, and we will be mentioning it off and on throughout 2020. Pretty cool. This is it.
What the?
2020 is just around the corner, and if you guys are anything like us at the Dead Zone, you probably already have your calendar filling up for the entire year. Well, you need to save a couple of dates open. I'm going to tell you why. We've got something really cool coming up, and who better to tell you about it than friend of the show, Robbie Thomas. How's it going, buddy?
How's it going, dude? How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing much better than I was last night, you know?
Yeah, we went through this, didn't we?
Yes, we did, and man, I'm telling you, the more I tried, the worse I got. I just had to quit.
It happens.
Yeah. So, you've got a tour coming up.
Yeah.
Let's hear about
2020.
that. Yeah, 2020, and in several different states, right?
Yes, we are. We're going to be kicking it off in Ontario, Canada, in Windsor. From there, we're going to boot over to, I think it's Indiana, and then we're hitting Michigan, and then we're hitting Ohio. Pennsylvania's on the list, and then I think we're coming back to Michigan.
Right.
There's a lot of dates, actually, and the theme of this, you're going to love this. You ready for this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, it's all law enforcement based.
There you go.
We're going to be hitting every prison, every jail that's haunted you can think of.
Right.
From Jackson Prison in Michigan to the Crown Point,
Indiana. You heard that, guys.
Yeah, throw that out there. Indiana, folks, I'm coming, you Hoosiers.
Very cool.
Yeah, and I'm loving it. I love Indiana, so, I mean, why not throw that in there? And I might want to hit there again, so we'll see what happens.
That would be cool. That would be very cool. Yeah.
Wouldn't it? Yes, and come down and do a live show with you, mate.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we're dying for that, man. We've had John how many times, and we just never can get you in the studio. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. We're in like a temporary setup right now, and that's why we're having some issues with the microphones and all that. I think we've explained that to everyone, but yeah, that would be great, man. That would be really cool.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Don't fill up your calendar just yet. Check these dates, and if you want to go ahead and just name them one more time, the actual dates, so people can get an idea of what they need to do to get the time off.
You got it. We're kicking it off June 6th in Canada. We're heading over into July, and actually the end of June and in July. We're going over to America, and we're going to hit America.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and we're going to be hitting Indiana in July.
There you go.
We're going to be hitting, oh my gosh, Michigan in August, Ohio in August, and everything, all the information, folks. You can go to RobbieThomas.net. That's ROBBIE Thomas.net. All the information's there. It's going to be a great time. What you're going to see and what you're going to get done is this. I'm going to present all the murder cases for the last 30 years. I've worked with like the U.S. Marshals, state police, sheriff's offices, and you name it. And we're going to put them up, and we're going to go through all the cases, and then I got cases I've solved that nobody knows about, and then I'm going to test everybody's ability. And then we're going to go through the workshop and how the procedures, the techniques, the legalities of all doing this with law enforcement. And if you have the ability, you really want to learn more and broaden this is where you're going to learn. I'm endorsed openly by law enforcement, and they wanted me to do this, and this is what's going to happen. So we're going to do that, and then as a bonus, some of these places, we're going to go do a ghost hunt.
Do a hunt. All right. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah. So there you go. I mean, it's not, you're not just going to go get a lecture. You're not going to just be talked to. You're going to be interactive, and then you're going to have a great time afterwards. So that's really cool.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. I'm going to make people work on this tour. They're not just going to sit there and listen and stare. They're going to work.
Absolutely. That's awesome. Okay, well, man, like you say, I hope we can work it out when you do come back through, that we can have you in here. And I appreciate you coming on and letting everyone know. Is there anything else you want to let us know?
Nope, just be sure. 2020, 20/20. Mm-hmm. I see 2020. So Robbie Thomas Psychic Profiler Tour. It comes off the Psychic Justice Tour 10 years ago.
Right.
So when I was down through the States 10 years ago, remember that, Lee?
Yep.
That's when I did all the cases.
Right.
Now you're going to see what happened after.
Very cool.
You're going to see who I put in jail, who got arrested, and yada, yada, yada.
Very cool. Very cool. Man, I can't wait. We're going to have to have you. We're going to have you come on the show in between, maybe.
Sometime in between. Absolutely.
Maybe. Yeah. We don't want to blow anything. We don't give anything away. But yeah, that would be very cool. All right. Well, thank you very much, sir. This is WDZR-DB Dead Zone.
Dead Zone WDZRDB Worldwide. Welcome to the Dead Zone Paranormal Radio Show. voices that seem to come from nowhere. Alone at night, there is a feeling that something or someone is near. Where can you go? Who can you turn to? Para-X Radio and the all-new Para-X Vision can help. Our knowledgeable host and expert guest can help you find some answers and take a glimpse into the unknown. Para-X Radio and Para-X Vision, programming for the open mind.
Okay, and now back to business.
Hey, welcome back to the Dead Zone. We've got Dr. Rebecca Foster, clairvoyant medium, EVP specialist, and author of a brand new book, God, Please Tie My Shoes. How are you doing?
I am good. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I'm doing all right.
Thanks for having me.
Well, we appreciate you coming on, man. It's awesome to have you. I think this is the first time. Actually, I feel bad. I feel like I'm stupid because we go around to do these different events, and the last one we just did there in Chicago. I'm sorry, in Indianapolis is the first time I've met you.
I know, right? Well, there's a first time for everything.
Right. It was very cool. And I wish Michelle was here because there was an experience that you guys had together there with someone. I wish you guys could talk about that, but that's neither here nor there. So first of all, I'm new to you. Tell us about you.
Well, I am, like you said, I'm a clairvoyant medium, and I have been reading for people.
For 33 years.
Yes, for 33 years, exactly.
Right.
And so what I do is just, my mission, my goal is to share my gifts with as many people as I can and help people to see that they're not alone in this world, that there are other forces that know intimate details of their lives, that are always with them, that are rooting them on to just get through the next difficult moment or to stick around, and that helping people to see the small happenings and coincidences in their lives just also then pushes people to think, well, wait a second, okay, I thought I was alone, but somebody obviously knows what's going on with me if she knows this. And it's to help people to stick around, to just, fight some of the difficulties that we deal with on both an earthly and a physical and a spiritual and a mental level.
Okay. I mean, help people, say that again, help people stick around?
Yes. Well, if you look at it this way.
Okay.
It's really culminated because it started off as like a circus act. Like, hey, Rebecca can tell you your future, she can tell you your past.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Okay, and it's grown into something where there isn't a person out there alive at this moment who either does not know personally or through someone else, someone who has committed suicide.
Oh, yes.
And
yes, yeah.
So,
and I'm one, yeah.
Exactly. And so getting people to understand that there's a purpose behind everyone being here, regardless of how good or how painful the life is. Nothing happens to us in vain. And so I attempt to bring that knowledge to people to help them, to strengthen them, to just liberate them from the idea that either they're crazy or that what they're living is just to cause them to suffer. And so that is truly my purpose.
You know what's amazing to me? You said right off the bat you're talking about suicide, right?
Yeah.
Upcoming next year at Ashmore Estates, there's going to be an event there.
Yes, I'll be speaking at that.
You're going to be there. Okay, I was going to bring that up because we're going to be there too. Awesome.
Yep.
That's really cool.
I will be there.
Very cool. Very cool.
Exactly, and it's my purpose. It's not about, am I going to marry Tom, Dick, or Harry? I don't know. It's not why I'm here to tell you who you're supposed to follow. If that kind of thing comes through, there's a reason for it. There's a purpose to help someone get beyond something that might be really, hanging on to them in a way that they're contemplating something.
Right.
Because the loss of someone, who knows what that can do to a person's energy. And so helping someone get past a breakup, a divorce, a death of a loved one, that's a major hurdle for some individuals.
Yes.
And so that'll come up when it's important.
Right.
But the other aspect of what I do is to helping people receive closure for someone who has died. For those, I've read for so many people who have lost someone to suicide, but
yes.
I've also read for a lot of people who have committed suicide, and they've talked about things on the other side from their perspective of it having it happen to them.
No, that's amazing. Now, how does that come through to you? I'd like to.
Yep.
How does that come through to you? I mean, do you have to have an object?
No. Well, if I'm reading for, let's say, Joe, and someone comes through in a way that sometimes they won't let me see their face. Sometimes they'll hide a particular part of their body, and a lot of times, if this is something that's new, that has just occurred recently, they will come through in like a garbled cell phone connection, like it's breaking up, like a really bad connection.
Like our connection here. No, I'm kidding. Go ahead. Yeah.
You let me know if that's happening.
No, we're fine. We're fine.
But I do have energies in the house that will disconnect my line and will do that. But what I've heard repeatedly from them is usually if somebody does that, it is an immediate regret. It is a point where they're asking them, they're just like, oh my gosh, what did I just do? Can I get back? Can I go back? And sometimes there is no going back. It's just part of what they have to learn.
That's what happens. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so that energy then goes to a place that is pretty much no taller than them. It's just a gray expanse, and there are just hundreds upon thousands of these energies that are wandering, and they're not conversing. They're not communicating with each other. They're just almost zombie-like walking.
Right.
So part of their motion forward is they are then presented with their life as it should have been. They're presented with what they were supposed to learn, what they were supposed to do, who they were supposed to help, the children they were supposed to have, the grandchildren, who they were supposed to save. They're presented with what their contract was, reminded of all of the things that they were intending on doing.
Yeah.
And this puts a lot of burden on them. So the next portion of their spiritual movement is the forgiveness from the people here on earth. Now, a lot of times people here will be like, I'm so sorry you went through this. I love you. I hope they're so worried about that person's soul. They're very willing to forgive and forget.
Well, I think now, I'm Baptist, Southern Baptist, so from what I was brought up on, many, many years ago, that's like a major sin, taking your own life. I mean, there's no coming back from that.
Well, it's not that. See, not to break off of this train of thought.
Yes.
But religion, a lot of it, if you look at all of the different religions, you will find a lot of similarity between each one. It just depends on truly who was writing which aspect of that religion according to their political agendas and their human stance and beliefs.
Okay, yeah.
And so
yeah, like the Salem witch trials, same thing.
It's right. It's really just what they wanted to project, and a lot of the biblical books are even removed because those are not the teachings they wanted to provide. However, there's a lot of truth to them to this day.
Right.
So the person experiences then, let's say, the forgiveness of those here. The next part is to forgive themselves. And if we as humans look and understand, one of the hardest things to do is to forgive self. Even while we're walking around, we do something and we're like, oh my God, how do I forgive myself? We carry around guilt, anxiety.
Yes.
We really judge ourselves harshly.
Yes.
And so getting past the judgment of self, that person then goes on to a new contract, and they sit down and they rewrite coming back and how they're going to get through it. And I let people know that if you're going through something really, really trying right now, and I can guarantee there is not a living person on this earth today who has never said, wow, I don't know if I should even be here. This place, I don't know if I want to stick around. There's not a person, I don't care. They cannot honestly say they've never contemplated not being here. It's always crossed someone's mind. It's just the way it is.
What are you meaning? Are you meaning this earth or a particular place? This life. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
There's always a point. There's a point in everyone's life when they think, is it worth sticking around? They may not go actually through with it, but it crosses people's minds, and it's what creates that. It's what makes us human. Is contemplating our existence. We're just little specks. And it's getting over those humps that helps to create that strength. So when people are going through a trying time now, and they are contemplating not sticking around, I always ask them, you know, what people have to understand is this may be something you've already done.
In a past life. In a past life, right. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
And so you've really got to just go to sleep and sleep this one off and wake up the next day and see what's changed. Just go to sleep. Just lay down and put on something and go to sleep and see what happens and move forward. And most of us have a lot of past lives. Most of us have lives behind us, and we are here to continually learn. And we may die and go, you know, I want to know what it's like to be poor. I want to know what it's like to be rich, or to learn how to play guitar, or really know, you know, how to perform, people want to learn these things.
You know what you're saying to me is really bringing back what another guest that we had on I don't know if you know these guys. Now that I'll try to bring it up and interrupted you. I'm sorry, I can't remember.
No, you're fine.
Oh my gosh, I know you know them. You have to know them. Full Moon Caravan.
I don't know them. The name sounds familiar, but I don't know.
Okay, we just had them on, and we were talking about the same thing, the past life, and even to the point of birthmarks and this kind of thing.
Oh yeah, okay. Absolutely.
And they were saying, similar to what you're saying, when you pass, you come back because there's things that you need to learn.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm getting from you. That's what you're saying too. You're the same thing.
Yeah.
They just okay. I'm with you. All right.
Yeah. And you know it's funny because there's so much we could talk about. Seriously, there's just so much we can talk about past lives. When it comes to when people think they're going to go to hell, okay, or they judge themselves and end up going to hell or to heaven, it really comes down to not that God is judging us, because you have to look at it this way. Our relationships with both our parents and with our children, they reflect that same kind of idea that we have with God. And so it doesn't matter what a child does. For the most part, most parents will forgive the child. Most of them will. Most of the time,
yeah.
Most of them.
And we all get what we deserve because we were the same way.
Right. So somebody goes out and kills someone. The parent is usually going to go visit them and take care of them and make sure they're okay. Even if they forgive them, they still love that child. And the same thing goes with God where we are concerned. So the judgment when we die does not come from Him condemning us, saying, you are bad, you're going to hell. It's not that. It's how we judge ourselves. If you die and all of a sudden you say, I'm a bad person, I don't belong there, you're going to judge yourself to a dark place.
Yeah.
You are going to condemn yourself. That is what people need to understand, is that's why we don't judge. It's not so much, while we're alive, we don't want to judge because we don't understand what someone's going through. But we also don't want to judge ourselves because in the end, if we do that, we may put ourselves where we believe we belong, and it might not be a heavenly realm.
Right. Okay, now, that being said, do you believe in the actual fire and brimstone hell?
Yes, and the only reason I do is because there can't be one without the other. And also, I will clarify this. The things that people call demons and Satan, Beelzebub, all of those darker angels, they're right here with us. They walk right next to us, and they're very loud, and they're in our ears. Whereas the heavenly realm, when I read for people, and I'm seeing those who are in heaven, they're like 5 dimensions out from us. They have to come to me because it's exhausting trying to cross their dimensions into their world. But those demonic things, those devilish things, the darker things, they're right here with us. But I once saw a man come out of the floor, and he was like a genie in a bottle. All he was like torso up.
Okay.
And he was screaming and freaking out and lashing at us, and he was in the flames, and
flames.
It was terrifying. It was, and he was trying to get out. And I said, okay, everybody out of the room. And I made everybody leave because I had to clear this room from him. And the woman said, that was my stepfather. He killed my mom. And he was not a nice, he was not a nice person. And I even contacted her within the last year because a similar situation had come up. And I said, do you remember what happened at so-and-so's house? And she's like, oh my God, when my stepfather came out, I'm like, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So that is the only reason that when people say, oh, the earth is hell. Being on earth is hell. No, it's not. This is where we are here to learn. This is like university.
Well, see, I want to ask the question now is if you're in hell, your soul is in hell, you're not getting out, right?
From what it looks like, no. And I could not at this point tell you what it would take someone to get out of that.
Oh, evidently this guy tried, right?
He was trying. He was definitely trying, but you could see that he did not have the legs to just come and walk around. He was held in that place. He was held there.
Now, do you think there's a portal there? Possibly?
That's possible. There are dimensions. There are different portals and dimensions, the way people can travel, the way that energies travel through.
All right.
That, of course, there's definitely a time-space difference, the way that we as humans are able to... Our perceptions are completely different because of what we put on our brains. For instance, a child, a dog... before they're told that they can't experience something or see something, they can.
They can.
Do that
they do.
Right.
Yes, absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it is the limitations that we as humans place on our own
It's like Michelle tells me all the time when we go out and we do our investigations. I never see anything. She says it's because I close off. I'm shut down.
It's true. People do that. They actually do. I always tell individuals, if your child is coming to you saying that they see grandma, don't tell them they're nuts. Don't tell them that that's not real. Let them tell you what they see, because then you can help them to keep that alive, keep it open.
Right.
And otherwise, people, they shut it off and they don't know how to get it back.
Right.
But we are all gifted with that. The telepathic abilities, energy reading, everybody has the ability. It's just reopening those ideas within ourselves. So I enjoy doing that too, because right now this is a great awakening going on, and more every year I see more and more people awakening to their own natural abilities, honing what they are naturally, innately capable of.
Right.
And this is also part of the problem, because every other commercial out there is, here, take a Xanax, here, take this here, take this because you're crazy.
Yeah.
And what people don't realize is that there is always, there are people out there who have chemical, physical issues. I'm not going to deny that they do not need some form of medical intervention. However, there are a lot of people out there who are actually seeing things and hearing things. If I weren't as strong as I am, I would have thought a long time ago that I was mentally insane, because they mimic, what I do mimics mental disease. It really does, because that's partially why I didn't get my doctorate in psychiatry. Because every time I read something, I'm like, oh my God,
I've got it. That's me. Yep.
I was like freaking out.
Right.
Yes. So helping people to awaken properly, to understand that the anxieties that they're feeling, or the stress they're feeling, the nervousness they're feeling, is not always associated with a mental disability or a mental issue.
Right. I agree with that.
It down to the energy aspect.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Yes.
Yes, and helping people to see that is very important, because otherwise everybody's going to be running to a doctor saying, I'm seeing things, I'm hearing things, I'm anxious, I need to calm down. No, you just need to, once people recognize what they're capable of and what is actually happening, wow, there's a relief. They're not stressed anymore, and now they can harness that and go, now I see why I'm doing this, now I feel it. That's what, I don't know.
Very cool.
That's what I really like helping people do.
Very cool. And you also say that you can pick up on, which I know there's a lot of people out there that don't believe in this, but you can also pick up on pets.
Yes.
Pets?
Yes, I talk to animals all the time.
That's
both
amazing.
living and deceased.
Last night I was sitting in my chair and my cat just perked up and looked at me and gave me a little chirp, and he wouldn't stop staring at me. I was like, quit. Okay, you're freaking me out. Stop it.
Oh, yeah. No, animals are, well, everybody, I think there's probably everybody's heard animals are very psychic. They're very telepathic. They can sense your energy, the smells about you. There's chemical things about us that they all, they pick up on those things. But animals have a voice. And when, for instance, if I am... I'll give examples. There are several times when I've worked with police on murder cases, and people don't consider the pet. And so the animals will just completely reveal everything that happened and how and by who.
Right.
And it helps the police to identify and then to organize the situation where they can't say, oh, well, a psychic or a medium told us. They can then take what I said, what the animal has said, and then put it together and find the actual evidence behind it to support that. So animals talk. They talk on the other side. They all have a voice. They just sound different, and they all go to heaven.
Right.
And
we believe that. We believe that 100%. I mean, we've been where we are now for a really long time, and we've got some really old family members buried in the yard, and they visit us.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's the thing, people go to heaven. They check in, they go to heaven, and then they're able to then go wherever they really please.
Right.
It's when somebody is afraid of where they're going.
I'm not talking about people, I'm talking about our pets, old past
and pets. And your pets, exactly. And the same thing. They check in, they can hang out, they can sit on the couch with you. Our cat plays with two of our other cats in the house, and it's absolutely hilarious.
Right. We feel them jump on the bed, and there's nothing there.
Yeah, you can. Yes, exactly. It's like, I'll ask, where's the cat? Who just got off of bed with us? Because
and you can feel them walk and lay down. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That is so funny. So I do. I talk to the animals too, and I do a lot where animals are concerned, not just to help people to get some relief from somebody that a pet as a child to a lot of people.
Yes.
And,
yes, absolutely. Yeah.
For health reasons. So if something is wrong with an animal, if they're suffering or if they're in pain, if they're ill, if they're not eating, even if they're elderly, I will then find out what's going on, and they can help either switch their food or get them taken in for it. Because I do health scans on people, so can see like what's going on with a person's health. The same thing goes with the health of an animal, and someone's able to then go get the proper treatment for that.
Right.
So, or get their animal treated, and if they've got a tumor or if there's something wrong with their bowel, the animals will tell where they're hurting,
right.
So then they can get it properly checked, because that's quite expensive.
Yes, it is. But like you say, some animals are like children to some people.
Yes.
And it's a devastating loss.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
It's devastating.
Yeah.
I know people who that's their animals their entire life.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Can't imagine.
Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, so it's a pretty amazing gift, and
that's awesome. When did this start, by the way?
Well, when I was really little, I can remember seeing people and seeing things, but I did not actually start using it until I was 13. And
that young?
I was young. Part of it was because I guess growing up, I was always afraid of. I knew something was there. I could feel things there. I knew things were around. I was afraid of that. But I really did not gain my faith. And I think this had to happen because of what I do now. I did not gain a strong foothold in my faith until I had recognized the darker side of things. Once I do...
Okay. Explain that right there.
Yeah. Okay, so growing up, I had a brother who he was very faithful, but at the same time, he really tested the spirits. And
in what way?
He got into Ouija boards.
Oh,
okay. He got into all the demonic aspect of things.
Yeah, now...
And
I'm sorry.
I thought, wow, cool.
Yeah, cool. Okay, yeah.
So cool. And I was an angry teenager, and I hated God. I hated him. I was angry as, I just hated him. I was mad at him for everything.
But you believed in him.
I didn't believe in
if
him,
you
but I
hated him,
it.
then if there was that emotion there, then you had to have believed him in the first place.
I did, and I believed in God 100%.
Okay.
But I was very angry at him, and I had it out with him every day about how mad I was at him. And
wow. Yeah.
I was, through my older brother, I was introduced to the Ouija boards and the other things. And it took getting involved with that and seeing the power that can happen and manifest on a darker level in order to help me then say, okay, I understand. Please don't send me hell. Please don't make me go to hell. I will be your servant for the rest of my life. I will do whatever you want me to do. I will shut the door on all of this for the, I will never touch a Ouija board. I will never make another Ouija board. I will never try to summon anything. I will not, I had gotten into it basically as a joke. It was fun. It was stupid. It was being a teenager.
It's a game. Yeah, it's Parker Brothers' game.
Exactly, but it wasn't. It absolutely was not.
So it's not the game you go to Toys R Us to buy. It's the user that does it.
And I used it.
Yeah.
And I invoked a lot of things, and so seeing the darker side of things, I realized that I really did need God, and I was on my knees just praying. I'll do whatever you want me to do. Just don't send me to hell. I'm so sorry. I was 13 years old begging for my soul.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's when this all started. I think it stopped for a while. Like, I finally felt relief from all the things that I'd opened the doors to. And that's when I started understanding how to see things and experience things and do it consciously and on command, not just frivolously. I was able to actually turn it on. And
you can turn it off too, right?
I learned to turn it off.
You would have to, older. I would think, yeah.
Yes, because I was always on, and I realized it was driving me nuts.
Yeah, you would have to at some point. You have to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I learned how to turn it off many years later, so that I could actually not go insane.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
And so.
Yeah.
And it was funny too, because when I first started doing it, I didn't know how to do this. I didn't know how to read people just with God's help. I thought I had to use things, so I would use a rune or I would use a tarot card, and I didn't know what any of it meant, but I used it as a focal point.
Right.
And 15 years after I started reading for people, I had an experience where God said, okay, so you're not telling anybody that this is because of me. You're not telling anyone about me.
Okay, yeah, I get you.
You're not sharing me with anyone. Okay, let's see how you like this. And then he opened the gates of hell once again.
Oh.
And an old woman said to me one day, she's like, you haven't given God any props for what
acknowledgement,
you're doing.
Acknowledgement, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I went, holy crap. And I sold
holy crap. Yeah,
I
okay.
did. I got rid of everything down to candles, everything that I had ever thought I needed in order to divine anything. And that's when I realized it was divination. He didn't want me doing that. He wanted me using him and him alone.
You were the tool.
Yes.
You were the tool. There you go.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's when everything changed for me. It's when I finally woke up and said, I thought I was doing this all for you, but I wasn't telling anybody it was you this whole time.
Right.
And once I did that, that's when everything fell into place the right way. And
there
so
you go.
And that's why people, I don't let people ask questions. I do not, when I'm reading for a perfect stranger, all they have to do is say, hey, how you doing? That's it.
Right.
Let me connect to you through a hello. I don't need to know anything about you.
Right.
And the reason is because, and I explain it, that God is the one who knows our hearts. He knows what's in our hearts. And the thing is the devil knows everything about everybody too.
Oh, yeah.
So if somebody says, okay, can you tell me what happened on my 13th birthday with my Aunt Jo?
Yeah.
I will probably hear something that will convey the proper answer to that.
Yeah.
But I won't be able to trust where it's coming from. So
Right.
if I can answer a person's questions before they ask that, then they can rest assured it's coming from a higher power because it's within their heart that's being answered. So that's how I work.
Very cool.
No questions asked.
Very cool. And you don't charge, do you?
I do when I'm doing. Well, I kind of have to.
Well, you're kind of like us. If we're called, someone wants us to come and do an investigation. We don't charge. That's fine.
Exactly.
Whatever. Yeah.
If somebody gets a hold of me and God says you need to help them right now, I will get right on it. I do not hesitate. I help that person right now, and I do that so often.
Mm-hmm.
When somebody elects to get a hold of me privately, that's different. If I'm doing a big, huge gallery, then of course I have to pay for my hotel or my expenses.
Oh, yeah.
But,
Yeah.
I am very fair, and I have left that. I used to do everything at no cost. None of it. I did none of it.
Right.
And people started handing me money, and I was like, okay, I looked up, I'm like, do you want me to take this? Am I supposed to take money?
Right.
And then the next thing I heard was, God is going to provide you with the means to support yourself and to live. He doesn't want you to just use your talents and
Waste away. Yeah. And not be able. Yeah. You have to eat. Right.
Yes, that was it. And I felt like, okay, I'm not doing this the wrong way. Then I'm not using it the wrong way. I am doing
Very
this
cool.
the right way. And so I was accepting of it at that point.
Very cool. Okay, there is so much more that we could talk about, and I would love to have you back on if that's okay with you.
You let me know when.
Okay, but there's one thing I have to ask you about.
Yes.
Out of everything that we've talked about, why do you show up at cryptozoological events like we do?
Okay.
Like we do. I mean, you were just at Salt Fork. You were just at Salt Fork. Yeah, with a friend of mine. Yeah, Alyssa.
Yes. And I know, right? Well, part of it, I'm with Corridor 13, and that's through Russell Acord, and so that's part of it.
Okay.
And then the other part of it is because Squatchies, they're animals, and on a completely different note.
Yeah.
I do my stuff, but on that level, they're energetic beings, and so I've experienced them myself.
You have? Okay, well, there's a complete different show right there. We're going to talk about that.
That is a totally different show,
Yeah.
exactly. So, and I do try to keep them separate because usually, if I bring up aliens and Sasquatch to people who I'm reading, unless they have exact knowledge of what I'm talking about,
Right.
everybody else is going, where did we just go?
What? Yeah. Right.
But, it is, when you're talking different dimensions and you're talking spirit and energy, we're all intertwined in this universe.
Right.
So
Right. And that's
kind of an inevitable connection.
And it's like we are. I mean, I run with the Ames boys there from Mountain Monsters. You know that, and our mutual friend Jeff Byers.
Uh-huh.
The whole thing. Yeah. So I saw that you were there with Alyssa, and I was like, oh my God, that is so cool.
I was. Yes, absolutely.
So cool.
And that was a pleasure meeting her too. But
She's a little sweetie.
yes. So and that's the thing too, because I'm with Corridor 13, I will be attending a lot of the functions.
Very
and
cool.
I know, and that is just one of the hobbies that I absolutely enjoy.
I love it. Yeah, it's great.
I know.
And you meet the best people.
And you meet awesome people.
Yeah.
It becomes a like-minded family.
Right.
Where nobody else understands it.
Right. Right.
Exactly. Yes. So I'm so glad. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
We appreciate it. I appreciate you so much. And you've got I think the 30th, right? You have an on-air reading, Sunny 97.7 FM?
I do, yeah, and Sunny 97.7 FM
Okay.
Out of Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. So that will be live on the air from 6 to 9 a.m.
Very cool.
And there's a streaming for that as well, so people can stream. They can call in.
Okay.
You can, I believe it's. Do you want the phone number for that?
Go right ahead. Yes, please.
I believe it is 920-926-9696. I believe it.
I think that's it. Yes, I think that is it. Yeah, and you've got an appearance in November, right?
I have several. Yes, I have several.
I've got one on the 9th here. I'm looking at it. It's Fond du Lac Public Library.
I'll be at the Fond du Lac Public Library on the 23rd,
Right.
and I will be also at a place called Annie's Fountain City Cafe.
Very cool.
And that is on the 13th, and then, we get into the Midwest weather at that point.
Yes. Yeah, we do, yeah.
You just never, you leave one day and it's 75, and then it's the next day there's a blizzard and you're snowed in.
Yep, there you go. You're right. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
Right, so then we're looking into March sometime. So March will be, everything is just going to be accelerating, and I kind of limit my winter travel. So.
Right, yeah. Well, okay. Rebecca Foster, guys, God, please tie my shoes. I appreciate you coming on, and we hope you will come back.
Thank you so much. Of course I will.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Good night.
Good night.
If you've enjoyed this episode, share it with your friends.
This is the Dead Zone Paranormal Radio Show.
Thanks for listening.
Your source for everything paranormal. Para X.